We had no idea where to start with naming our hotel. We had a concept and ideas, but we didn't have a method and a process for naming. So we brought in an expert that did. These are the names they came back with and what happened next. Their approach was this. They started with what was real: the location, the history, the culture, the guest behavior. They organized these things into what they called naming territories, then used that to build names and stories that actually meant something. If you've been following along, you know how important story is to a concept like this. So they brought us back names like Hotel Automatique, a nod to the history of our neighborhood as Auto Row in the 1920s. Hotel Auteur, celebrating the history of authors in the city of New Orleans. But the two that stood out most were the Hotel Perle, or the Perle, named after Perley Thomas, who designed the streetcars that still run today in front of our building. Not only was this a tie-in to the streetcar that was already a main part of our concept, dropping the Y from his name, you got the French word for pearl, like the pearls you find in oysters. The second name was the Charles and Julia. Now, right away, I saw Hotel Perle as the name for the hotel. But we had a general plan for a cafe at our hotel, and even though we hadn't started working on it, it was these names, both the Hotel Perle and the introduction, really, for the first time of this idea of French and French heritage to our concept. And the name Charles and Julia and the story that the branding agency started to develop around a fictional couple that met on the streetcar. It gave me the idea and the inspiration that made me see a new, distinct creative direction for the cafe, one inspired by the famous street cafes that you see in Paris, and the inspiration to take this French idea, this French theme, and work it deeper into the concept that we had already started. But as is usually the case, we couldn't get the whole group on the same page. So what I did next was to take the work that the branding agency had started, use it as a jumping off point, and begin to develop the concept further into something that I could present to my partners to try to steer them in the direction that I thought was best. If you want to see that next step I took and you want to follow the story of the building of the Hotel Perle front to back, follow me here. If you want to get even more access, go to the link in my bio.